So let's go and take a look at what it says. It says PQRS is a parallelogram. Now that's important to know, isn't it? Why is parallelogram an important piece of information? Parallel sides have the same vector. Very important. So we understand that. So anywhere you see parallel, you need to make sure you highlight that. Sorry, let me just reopen that again. So we've got parallelogram, which means parallel sides are labeled as the same thing. So I'm going to go and do that straight away, even without reading the rest of the question, by using line by line maths. So which vector can I label from here? Q to R. Which way will the arrow go? Okay, arrows are very important. If you don't draw the arrow, you don't know whether you're doing plus or minus. So if you just write down A, and I know a lot of you will write down A for this, but have I done this right? I need an arrow there in the same direction as the original line. Because it's a parallelogram, I know those straight away. They are of the same length and they are parallel. Now that's really useful because I can then go and work out other things. Now, the question like this, sometimes the question will be nice and it will guide you to doing certain things. Often it won't. I'm going to treat it as if it weren't going to guide me. What would I have done once I got these roots? Do I leave it like that? What's the last thing we've been practicing? What's the last note that we made? To find all the roots. Is there a root that's missing? Which one? S to Q, yeah? We'll worry about N. N is part way through SQ. We'll worry about N later, but we'll find SQ first. What is S to Q? I'll put an arrow here. So I want to go from S to Q. So where am I starting from? S. Which root can I take? I can go that way, which is minus B, and then plus A. So how would I label SQ? Minus B plus A. Straight away, my diagram is fully complete with all the roots there. That minus B plus A that I have is for the whole of S to Q, not up to N. Okay, I know there's an N there, but just make sure you understand that's for the whole root. If you look at part A of the question, can you see what it's saying? Write down in terms of A and B an expression for SQ. Is that what we've just done? Yeah. It says go from S to Q. So we've actually done that. Or if they said go from Q to S, what would we have done? Yeah, just the other way around. Okay, minus A plus B. But that's fine. So that matches what they've asked us to do, part A. And if our diagram is complete, we can go and tackle all the questions. So here's the new part of the learning, introducing ratios. Look at this second line. So we've done the parallelogram. N is a point on SQ such that SN to NQ ratio is the same as 3 to 2. So when you get a ratio, what I'd like you to do is take that ratio first and understand how that can be written as a fraction. So what can we say SN dot NQ is as a fraction? What's the total that we have for the ratio? So it's going to be out of 5. So SN is going to be 3 over 5 and NQ is going to be, did you understand how we got there? 3 to 2. Out of a total, it's 5 parts. So what is SN? SN is 3 parts out of a total of 5. So I've written it here. And NQ is 2 parts out of 5. Do you understand that? So SN is 3/5 of what? 3/5 of S to Q. Can you see that? Because if that's split up into a ratio of 3 to 2, surely if I know what SQ is, which I do, then S to N is only 3/5 of that. So can I now go and work out what S to N is? Yeah? Can I find out what S to N is? How much is it? It's 3/5 of minus B plus A. Did you understand that? I just took the whole root, the S to Q root, and I've put down that S to N is 3/5 of that. Notice where my arrow is. My arrow should be in the same direction. And what will N to Q be? 2/5 of minus B plus A. Can you see I've got another arrow, which was my original one. I drew that bigger just to distinguish between the 2 small parts and the whole root. Do I need that whole root now? I don't really need that because now it's completely labeled, isn't it, with the N in there. If I went from S to Q, I know it's going to be the whole thing, but I'll just put it in there using maybe a different color here, just so I can see my big root, S to Q, is simply minus B plus A. Okay, but it's not needed, that bit. So for the purpose of doing these, working out these questions, I wouldn't actually put an extra label on a root that you already have. So if you've got it labeled partly S to N and N to Q, that's better than having the whole thing. Okay, is my diagram fully labeled? Are all the roots known? Now you're in a case where you can solve anything that they throw at you. What are they asking us to find? So let's go and write down N to R here, and we're going to focus on how we get from N to R. I'm going to first of all go from N to R using some using the letters. So which way can I go? I'm starting at N. Where can I go first? To Q. So I can say I can go from N to Q first, and then I can go from, so plus Q to R. It's in the same direction, isn't it? Arrow. So what is N to Q? 2/5 of then plus R, just B. Did we follow that? Did you understand how I use the ratio part though? The ratio part are written as a fraction, and then I split up the whole length into the different fractions. Do I leave it like this? Can this be tidied up? It can, can't it? Because can you see, we can do 2/5 of minus B, which is minus 2/5 B, 2/5 of A, which is plus 2/5 A, and then plus B. Which ones can we collect? B term. So we've got 1 minus 2/5, which is going to leave us with 3/5. Can we do those calculations in our head? A whole take away 2/5. If you've got a whole and you've taken away 2/5 from it, you'll be left with 3/5, won't you? If in doubt, how could we do it? You could, if it was on a non-calc paper, and if you're in doubt, how would we have done 1b take away 2/5? You'd have done 1 take away 2/5. But how can we write 1 as a fraction? Over 1. Make the same denominator, so make this out of 5. Yeah? Yeah, I haven't gone on to it yet. So that gives us 3/5, doesn't it? Now, I haven't done the A bit. What's the A bit? It's 2/5 A is remaining, isn't it? So that's my complete answer there. 3/5 B plus 2/5 A. Now, one of the important things on vectors we should be doing at the end step is, if possible, factorize it. Can you see what's common in both of them? Not 5, a fifth. 5 would have been if it was 5 on the numerator. 1/5 is a factor. How many lots of those do we have? 3b plus 2a. Part C and part D, if they go into the harder questions, to spot if two vectors are the same, parallel, you need to factorize. So we're getting in the habit of factorizing. We'll make a note in our flashcard, an additional note. When you found factors which have been simplified, if possible, factorize, because it helps us to see if vectors are parallel. Okay, I'll make a note. Once you've simplified a vector, okay, this is our note. Once you simplify a vector, factorize if possible, factorize where possible, because it helps us to find other vectors which are parallel to it. Because it helps us to find other vectors which are parallel to it. Okay, if you factorize, you'll be able to see that. So that's kind of, this is more for the AO2, AO3 problem solving skills of vectors, the last ones that we're going to be looking at, the last part of a question. We're going to come on to those types later, but make a note about that. So then we found our answer to NR. It's 1/5 of 3b plus 2a. In this one, factorizing wasn't needed because there's no other parts to it.